Across the front lines of Ukraine, hundreds of Russian convoys advanced, some small, some heavily armed, all with a single goal. In this video, we focus on 20 of them. Selected from hundreds of documented engagements, these attacks were not random. Each convoy was spotted, followed, and what happened next was decided on the battlefield. From drones and ground robots to APCs, tanks, and full mechanized groups, we move from lighter units to heavily armored formations. Let's begin. March 25th, 2024. In the Avdivka direction, the 47th Separate Mechanized Brigade spotted 2 Russian ground robots equipped with AGS-17 automatic grenade launchers. After 3 drone strikes, both robots were successfully destroyed. March 5th, 2024. In the skies over Avdivka, 2 Russian Shahed drones are flying in formation. They are engaged by an RBS-70 air defense system and a single-barrel Zastava M55 anti-aircraft gun. Both drones are brought down before they can complete their mission. April 15, 2025. In the Toretsk direction, 5 Russian infantrymen on motorcycles are spotted advancing. Artillery units from the 28th Brigade open fire first. Moments later, drone operators join the operation. The motorcycles are taken out first, followed by the remaining soldiers, effectively halting their advance. June 1st, 2024. In the Donetsk region, a Russian assault group attempted to advance using BTR-82A armored personnel carriers supported by infantry. A Bradley IFV from the brigade's 2nd Mechanized Battalion quickly took position, waiting for the enemy to enter open terrain. When the moment came, the vehicle's Bushmaster 25mm cannon opened fire, destroying 2 BTR-82As and neutralizing the infantry riding with them. May 5th, 2024. On the Pokrovsk axis, Russian forces launched another assault using 2 BMP infantry fighting vehicles and a tank. The tank, hit by the first strike, veered off course. Its driver failed to notice a trench ahead and drove straight into it. The movement was quickly detected by Ukrainian aerial reconnaissance units. Working in coordination, artillery crews and FPV drone operators from the 47th Mechanized Brigade halted the advance and destroyed all enemy armored vehicles. March 10th, 2025. In Bakhmut, a Russian convoy of 3 vehicles moved in to break through Ukrainian lines. The first strike to stop them came from 122mm artillery. The initial round missed its mark, but the second hit forced part of the convoy to stop. Troops dismounted from a halted APC, attempting to hold position. To suppress them, cluster munitions and vampire drones were deployed. Further artillery fire and FPV drone strikes followed, eliminating the remaining vehicles and enemy personnel. March 1st, 2023. Near Avdivka, a Russian APC convoy of 4 vehicles advanced toward a forest line. Hidden behind the trees, 2 Ukrainian tanks lay in ambush. The lead vehicle was destroyed instantly. Seconds later, the third was taken out from a separate angle. The last 2 tried to maneuver, but were quickly eliminated. All 4 were neutralized within minutes by tank crews of the 53rd Separate Mechanized Brigade. April 17, 2025. In Kramatorsk, during a multi-directional Russian assault, a 4-vehicle convoy was detected. It included APCs and tanks equipped with additional armor plating. FPV drones were first launched to disable or immobilize the vehicles. Once the vehicles were stopped or damaged, follow-up drones were sent in for final strikes. Some of these drones carried thermite charges, ensuring that the targets were fully destroyed by fire. January 2nd, 2025. In the Krishchina direction, Ukrainian forces from the 47th Magura Brigade, together with supporting SOU units, successfully repelled a massive Russian assault. The attack began with mine-clearing tanks fitted with trawls, followed by 6 consecutive waves of tanks, BMP-2 infantry fighting vehicles, BMDs, APCs, and military buggies. Despite the intensity, Ukrainian defenders operated with precision and coordination, acting as a single combat mechanism. The outcome: dozens of enemy vehicles were destroyed, resulting in equipment losses worth tens of millions of dollars. 45 Russian soldiers were killed, and 53 wounded during the failed assault. March 15, 2024. Near Siversk, Russian forces launched a surprise raid against units of the K2 Battalion, advancing with 6 armored vehicles, including T-80 tanks. But the K2 Battalion was fully prepared. The entire movement was being monitored live from above. After the first artillery strike, the Russian convoy abruptly changed direction, pushing into the village interior. Ukrainian artillery crews and drone operators quickly redirected their efforts, continuing their strikes to stop the convoy. As the vehicles moved into open terrain, one of the T-80 tanks hit a single mine planted earlier by the battalion. The explosion was massive, and it brought the entire assault to a halt. FPV drones then took over, bombing the remaining vehicles. By the end of the engagement, 5 out of 6 armored vehicles were destroyed, and the 6th barely managed to escape with heavy damage. 42 Russian soldiers were killed in the failed assault. June 2nd, 2023. In the Zaporizhia direction, Ukrainian forces targeted a Russian military column positioned in a rear staging area. The 83rd Separate Air Assault Brigade of the Russian Federation was hit with a combination of artillery fire and precision-guided HIMARS rockets. The strike resulted in the destruction of 3 artillery systems, 2 fuel tankers, and 8 additional pieces of military equipment, including logistics and support vehicles. The attack disrupted Russian supply lines and temporarily halted troop movements in the area. January 2nd, 2025. In the Donetsk region, a Russian military convoy of 7 vehicles was caught on the road. The column included APCs, T-80 tanks, and trucks carrying ammunition. Drone operators from the Magyar Birds unit struck first, targeting the lead truck. FPV drones then dove rapidly onto the rest of the convoy, focusing on the APCs and ammo carriers. As the formation broke apart, escaping tanks, BMPs, and other armored vehicles were pursued and hit. The operation was executed swiftly, before Russian forces could regroup or respond effectively. January 25, 2025. Russian forces moved out from Avdivka. They attempted to enter the village of Avdivka. A convoy of 8 armored vehicles was deployed to launch an attack. Their target was the 117th Mechanized Brigade and the 14th National Guard Brigade stationed in the area. The first FPV drone struck a BMP infantry fighting vehicle. After that hit, the convoy came to a halt. A second drone targeted an MTLB and disabled it. Near the water tower, a tank and another MTLB were also struck and stopped by drones. Finally, the remaining vehicles, attempting to retreat behind those already hit, were destroyed as well. All Russian vehicles involved were rendered inoperable by drone strikes. January 20th, 2025. In the Kurshchina direction, a Russian military convoy of 12 vehicles attempted to advance along 3 separate axes. The movement was quickly intercepted by FPV drones and artillery systems. Units from the 82nd Brigade and 47th Brigade worked in coordination to halt the advance. The strike resulted in the destruction of 3 tanks and 8 infantry fighting vehicles, effectively stopping the convoy. September 20th, 2023, in Avdivka, artillery units from the 2nd Mechanized Battalion, working in coordination with the 55th and 110th Motorized Rifle Brigades, successfully repelled a large-scale Russian assault. Russian forces launched the attack with multiple APCs and tanks, aiming to break through Ukrainian defenses. They advanced under the assumption, based on flawed intelligence, that the area would be lightly defended. Instead, they encountered heavy artillery fire, FPV drone strikes, and extensive minefields. Several Russian tanks struck mines during the assault, further adding to the chaos. Under sustained pressure and mounting losses, the assault force was forced to retreat.
October 11th, 2022. In the Kherson region, a Russian artillery unit was moving in convoy formation when it was spotted by Ukrainian reconnaissance assets. Within minutes, the entire column came under coordinated fire from Ukrainian artillery units and HIMARS precision rocket systems. The strike was devastating. Destroyed in the attack were 2 BM-21 Grad rocket artillery batteries, 3 BM-27 Uragan long-range multiple rocket launchers, and 3 Tu-S1 self-propelled howitzers. A large number of Russian personnel were also eliminated during the strike. October 6, 2023. In the Donetsk region, a large Russian armored convoy consisting of numerous BTRs, T-72 and T-80 tanks launched an offensive maneuver. Ukrainian forces responded swiftly. Javelin anti-tank systems were the first to engage, targeting the lead vehicles to stall the convoy's momentum. Javelins are fire-and-forget guided missiles designed to destroy armored targets from above, where tanks are most vulnerable. With the column largely immobilized, FPV drones followed up with targeted strikes. One armored vehicle attempting to break away was caught in a large explosion.
November 1st, 2023. In the Avdivka direction, Russian forces launched yet another large-scale assault, deploying T-72 tanks, APCs, and MTLBs in an attempt to break through Ukrainian defenses. The attack was met with a layered Ukrainian response. 122mm rockets, RPG-7s, and SPG-9 recoilless rifles were used alongside pre-planted mines and coordinated artillery fire. The battle unfolded across snow-covered terrain, and once again, Ukrainian forces held their ground. Their success came from establishing a multi-point defensive line rather than a single static front, supported by aerial reconnaissance that helped track and preempt Russian movements.
March 9th, 2022. Near the village of Skybin, northeast of Kyiv, a Russian armored convoy attempted to advance through the area. Ukrainian forces launched a coordinated ambush using artillery and drone support. The convoy included at least 20 Russian vehicles, among them a TOS-1A thermobaric rocket launcher. Several vehicles were destroyed or disabled, blocking the road and halting the advance. The Russian forces eventually retreated, leaving behind a destroyed tank and an armored personnel carrier. March 6, 2025. In the Chasiv Yar area, Russian forces attempted a breakthrough with a convoy of over 25 armored vehicles, including tanks, BMP infantry fighting vehicles, and MTLBs. The convoy advanced toward the positions of the 24th Mechanized Brigade, named after King Danilo. Ukrainian infantry, artillery, and drone units responded immediately. A traffic jam formed when destroyed vehicles blocked the canal crossing, trapping much of the convoy. Some survivors tried to retreat, but many did not make it. At least 11 vehicles were destroyed and 5 more were damaged. Russian personnel losses are estimated at no fewer than 33 soldiers killed or wounded. FPV drone operators continued targeting those who managed to dismount.
These were 20 moments from a war still unfolding. To follow the next chapter, stay with us.